There's a country right now where you can live in a modern European city, pay around $400 a month for a one-bedroom apartment, stay for an entire year without a visa, and pay just 1% income tax on what you earn from foreign clients. No, it's not a scam, it's the Republic of Georgia, and the expat community has been quietly building it into one of the most remote worker-friendly countries on the planet. While everyone fights over Portugal and Bali, this small country sandwiched between Europe and Asia has gone from a post-Soviet unknown to a serious digital nomad hub. But, and this is important, Georgia in 2026 is not the wide-open frontier it was 2 years ago. The rules tightened, costs went up, and the political picture got more complicated. So in this video, I'm breaking down the real, current situation. What it actually costs to live in Tbilisi in 2026, how the visa and brand new work permit rules work, why the tax setup is still genuinely good, what's changed, and who this place is actually right for. Whether you're a remote worker looking to stretch your income, or a retiree who wants a European lifestyle without the European price tag stick around. This is the honest version. Why Georgia is on every expat's radar, a few things lined up at once. First, during the pandemic, Georgia was one of the first countries to actively court remote workers with its Remotely From Georgia program. That program is still on paper, but in practice, it's been superseded by something even simpler, visa-free entry for up to 365 days for citizens of more than 95 countries, including the US, UK, Canada, Australia, and all EU nations. No application, no income proof, no paperwork at the border. Just a passport, though as we'll see, there's now one extra requirement. Second, the infrastructure caught up fast. Tbilisi has fibre optic internet across the city centre with speeds that regularly clock above 100 megabits per second. Co-working spaces have multiplied. Entire neighbourhoods like Vake, Vera and Sabatillo have a visible expat presence with English spoken in every other caf. Third, and this is the big one, Georgia has one of the most generous tax regimes in the world for freelancers and foreign entrepreneurs working with overseas clients. We'll get into the specifics, but the headline number is 1%. The real 2026 cost of living in Tbilisi, let's start where it matters most, the money. And let me say up front, rents in Tbilisi have climbed 20 to 30% since 2023, thanks to a wave of Russian and Ukrainian arrivals. Rent, a modern, furnished one-bedroom apartment in Sabatillo runs $400 to $700 a month. In a more central neighborhood like Vake, Vera, or Old Town, expect $700 to $1,200 for something comparable. If you're willing to live slightly outside the center Galdani, Didi Degomi, you can still find places at $300 to $450. Utilities are usually $50 to $80 on top, and they're often included in furnished rentals. Groceries, Georgian food is incredibly affordable. Fresh bread, cheese, fruit, vegetables and meat from local markets will run you $150 to $250 a month, and we're talking high quality. Locally produced food, not processed imports. Eating out this is where Tbilisi punches well above its weight. A full meal at a local restaurant, kinkali dumplings, grilled meat, fresh salad, and a glass of Georgian wine costs $5 to $12. You could eat out every single day and still come in well under $400 a month. Transport, the Tbilisi metro and bus system runs on a flat $1 fare per ride, about 35 US cents, valid across all modes for 90 minutes. A monthly unlimited transport pass is 40 gel, around $14. Taxis through the Bolt app rarely exceed 15 gel, about $5 for a cross-city trip. Realistic monthly transport budget, $30 to $60. Co-working, dedicated workspaces start at about $80 to $150 a month for unlimited access. Most cafes are perfectly set up for working and charge nothing beyond your coffee. Health insurance. As of January 2026, you legally have to have travel or health insurance to enter Georgia at all. International overage through providers like Safety Wing or Genki runs $45 to $90 a month. Local private clinics are very affordable, even out of pocket a GP visit is about $20 to $30. Entertainment and miscellaneous, gym memberships are $25 to $40. A bottle of decent Georgian wine from a shop is $4 to $6, and you can find drinkable bottles for $2 to $3. Entertainment budget around $100 to $150. Add it all up, a comfortable, social, well-connected lifestyle in Tbilisi in 2026 costs roughly $1,000 to $1,500 a month for a single person. For a couple, budget $1,500 to $2,200. The visa situation is still amazing, with a few new things to note. Citizens from over 95 countries, including the US, UK, Canada, Australia, and all EU nations can enter Georgia and stay up to 365 days. No visa application, no income requirement, no registration. From January 1st, 2026, you must show proof of valid health and accident insurance covering your full stay, with minimum 30,000 gel, about $11,000 coverage. Border officials and airlines do check. A digital copy on your phone is fine. When your year is up, you can do a quick border run to a neighboring country. Armenia and Turkey are both straightforward re-enter, and your 365 days reset. Same-day border runs are possible. Just don't overstay. Fines escalate quickly, and repeat offenders can face entry bans. If you want something more permanent, Georgia offers a residence permit for foreigners who buy property worth at least $150,000. That threshold rose from $100,000 in March 2026. There's also a residence permit pathway for those with regular foreign income and a newer 3-year IT residence permit for tech professionals. The new work permit law, what it does and doesn't change this, is the biggest 2026 development, and a lot of YouTubers are getting it wrong, so listen carefully. On March 1st, 2026, Georgia introduced a mandatory right to labor activity, permit a special labor permit for most foreigners working or running businesses in Georgia. The original wording panicked a lot of expats, but a follow-up amendment passed on April 16th, 2026, carved out the key exception. Here's the simple version: if you're an individual entrepreneur with small business status serving only foreign. Non-resident clients, the classic digital nomad setup, you do not need the work permit. The amendment explicitly exempts this case. If you have Georgian clients, work for a Georgian company, or are physically working for a local employer, you do need the permit, plus a D1 visa or work residence permit. Permits take up to 30 days to process and cost up to 500 gel. Penalties for non-compliance are real, fines of 2,000 to 6,000 gel. So if you're working with any Georgian-based clients, talk to a local immigration lawyer before you start invoicing. The tax setup that makes Georgia hard to ignore Georgia operates a territorial tax system. If your income comes from outside Georgia and you're not a Georgian tax resident, it's not subject to standard Georgian income tax. You become a tax resident after 183 days in any 12-month period. But the real attraction is small business status. If you register as an individual entrepreneur and qualify for SPIs, you pay 1% on gross turnover up to 500,000 gel per year, about $185,000. Above that, you pay 3% on the excess. And if you exceed the cap 2 years running, you lose the status. Either way, it's one of the lowest effective rates in the world. For context, in the UK you'd pay 20 to 45%. In the US, you're looking at 22 to 37% federal alone. In Georgia, it's 1. Registration takes about a day, and the status itself can be active within a week. One catch worth knowing about: SBIs isn't open to every profession. Legal, medical, architectural, audit, and certain consulting activities are excluded. Many remote workers who call themselves consultants have been caught out by this. The definition matters more than the job title. Get advice from a Georgian tax specialist like Expat Hub Georgia or one of the local accounting firms before you assume your work qualifies. They specialize in setting this up for newcomers. The elephant in the room, Georgia's political situation. We would be doing you a disservice if we didn't mention this. Since late 2024, Georgia has been in a sustained political crisis. The ruling Georgian Dream Party passed a foreign agents law modeled on Russia's. The disputed October 2024 election triggered ongoing protests in central Tbilisi that have now run over 465 days, and in December 2024, the EU formally suspended Georgia's accession process. the US imposed targeted sanctions on senior Georgian officials, and in March 2026, the European Commission suspended visa-free travel for Georgian diplomatic and official passport holders. The US State Department lists Georgia at level 2, exercise increased caution. What does this mean for you as an expat? In practice, day-to-day life in Tbilisi remains calm and safe. Violent crime against foreigners is rare. The protests are concentrated around Parliament on Rustaveli Avenue and are largely peaceful, though there have been confrontations with police. Most expats living there report no impact on their daily routine, but you should know the political backdrop is real. The EU integration story has stalled, and that's relevant if you're planning a 5 or 10 year horizon. So who should actually consider Georgia? It's ideal for remote workers and freelancers earning in dollars, pounds or euros, particularly those serving foreign clients. Your purchasing power here is enormous, and the tax savings can mean tens of thousands a year in your pocket. It's great for digital nomads who want a base. Tbilisi has direct flights to most European capitals, and the cost of living means you can hold an apartment here while traveling. It's increasingly popular with retirees, particularly those who want a culturally rich, walkable city with excellent food and wine without the Western European price tag. And it's surprisingly good for families. International schools exist in Tbilisi, the city is generally safe, and the outdoor lifestyle, mountains, wine country, Black Sea coast is hard to beat. Who might it not suit? If you need a large established English-speaking expat community on the level of Lisbon or Bangkok, Georgia's is growing but still smaller. If you need tropical weather year-round, Tbilisi has cold winters. Temperatures drop below zero in January. If you rely heavily on Amazon-style next-day delivery and specific Western consumer brands, availability is limited. And if Georgia's political stability and new trajectory are central to your decision, that picture has clouded over the past 2 years. 3 things that catch every newcomer off guard. 1. Georgia is one of the oldest wine-producing countries on earth. 8,000 years of continuous winemaking history, recognized by UNESCO, and a bottle of excellent local wine still costs $4 to $6 at the shop. 2. Georgian hospitality culture is legendary. The traditional super feast is a multi-hour meal with toasts, songs, and more food than you can physically eat. You will be invited to one. Say yes. 3. Internet speed in Tbilisi regularly clocks above 100 megabits per second, faster than most cities in Western Europe. For remote workers, that's not a nice bonus, that's a deal breaker solved. Bottom line, Georgia in 2026 is more bureaucratic, more expensive and politically more complicated than it has been in the last few years. But the core proposition still holds up. 365-day visa-free stay, 1% tax for foreign client remote workers, a comfortable lifestyle for $1,000 a month, fast internet, and food and wine that punch way above their price tag. For the right person, it's still one of the most compelling expat destinations on the planet. You just need to go in with your eyes open. If you're seriously considering a move, put Tbilisi on your shortlist and talk to a Georgian immigration lawyer and tax advisor before you commit, as the rules genuinely changed this year. Drop a comment below, had you heard of Georgia as an expat destination before this video? And if you're already there, tell us how the recent changes have affected you. If this is the kind of content that helps you plan your next move, hit subscribe and turn on notifications. We post new relocation videos every week. Next up, we're covering the hidden costs of moving abroad that nobody warned you about. Trust me, you'll want to see that one before you book your flight. See you in the next video.